Hi folks, Shane here with Shane's Premier League review show for Game Week 8. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and watched my videos and liked my videos so far. Much appreciated. Fair play to you. Now, let's crack on with the show for Game Week 8. Liverpool and Manchester United. This was a really dull, drab affair, folks. There was very few chances in the game. Romelu Lukaku came closest for the Red Devils with a good shot in the first half, which was saved comfortably by Simon Mignolet. As for Liverpool, they attacked Man United the whole game, but with very little success. They came closest with a wonderful shot from Joel Matip, which was met brilliantly with an equally fantastic save from David De Gea. Other than that, there was half a penalty appeal from Liverpool's Philippe Coutinho and a good shot from Nemanja Matic. Other than that, very little to write home about, as I said, and the build-up was better than the match, and the post-match analysis obviously as well were good, but that speaks volumes for the game itself. Mourinho came for his point and got his point, and that sums the whole game up, with Liverpool playing quite well throughout the game but couldn't break down a stubborn Manchester United defence. So that's it. On we go to Burnley and West Ham United. This was an eventful game. Andy Carroll managed to get himself booked twice in 90 seconds for the same offence, folks. And in between that, West Ham managed to take the lead with a good goal from Mikel Antonio, which came from a long ball up the field from Joe Hart, and Nick Pope was round it, and therefore it was 1-0 to West Ham. They held the lead until the 85th minute or thereabouts, where Chris Wood scored a brilliant header to score a good equaliser for Burnley to get their good start of the season going. However, West Ham need to improve, and they have a good chance to do so tonight as they take on Brighton at the London Stadium. Crystal Palace and Chelsea. This was a stunning result, one that shocked me. I had it down as one of my certainties for last week. Sorry about that, folks. But I didn't realise that Crystal Palace were going to suddenly turn up after 8 games and put on a show as they did. When this was their 8 game, you know what I mean anyway, folks. Wilfred Zaha had the game of his life. He's just back from injury, and he put in a stunning performance for Roy Hudson's side, scoring the goal which eventually won Crystal Palace the game. In between that, Cesar Azpilicueta scored no goal to give the Eagles the lead, and Chelsea scored a goal from a corner. Taimir Bakayoko to give the Blues hope, but it wasn't to be, and it was a deserving victory for Crystal Palace to get their season up and running. Hopefully it'll be a catalyst for them to continue their good form as they finally got their season up and running. Now, we'll move on to Manchester City and Stoke. This was another superb performance from the Blues. Just to mention a few of the goal scorers, we'll be here all day, as they scored 7 goals. They even got one of Stoke's goals. So just to mention a few: Bernardo Silva, Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling. That's basically all I can remember for now. I can also remember that Kevin De Bruyne had the game of his life. He managed to do very well. El Hadji scored for Stoke, and the Blues keep their wonderful form up and going, playing some superb football. It's magical, and they're deservingly top of the league by 2 points at the moment as things stand. Swansea and Huddersfield. Tammy Abraham scored twice here, folks. Huddersfield managed to help them though, with the keeper playing a square pass out from the back, which was intercepted, and Tammy Abraham loves gifts, and he managed to pop the ball into the net, and he got confidence from that, and he scored again later on. From Huddersfield's point of view, they're going downhill a bit now. They haven't won in a while. So hopefully they come back to form sooner rather than later after their good start of the season. But as I said, it's fading now, and it's not going to get any easier as Manchester United are up and coming in their next home game at the John Smith Stadium. On to Spurs and Bournemouth. The Spurs bet had work of this, folks. Christian Eriksen managed to get the breakthrough for them in the second half, but it wasn't without a few scares from Bournemouth. Jermaine Defoe managed to come close for the Seasiders, but it wasn't to be for them, and Spurs finally managed to get their first home win of the season. So congratulations to them, and hopefully there's many more home wins to come for them in the league this season, unless they're playing Liverpool, that is. Watford and Arsenal. This was a superb game at Vicarage Road, with yet again another shock. However, Arsenal did take the lead with a bullet of a header from Per Mertesacker, scored his first goal for the Gunners in the league for a few years. But there was a sting in the tail. In the second half, Troy Deeney came on from the bench to score a penalty and to help set up the second goal, which Tom cleverly bulleted into the net to give the Hornets the victory and to leave Arsene Wenger scratching his head from a game that Arsenal basically dominated up to about 20 minutes to go when Marco Silva made his couple of subs, which turned the game on its head, folks, to give a wonderful victory to Watford and to leave Arsenal with a bit of sorting out to do, really. They need to bounce back again next weekend against Everton for their own sake, to get their season back on track. On to Brighton and Everton. This was another strange game. Brighton dominated really from start to finish. Anthony Knockaert scored a deserved goal for the Seagulls, but a moment of madness in going into added time in the penalty box, where one of the Brighton defenders punched an Everton forward in the box, where Michael Keane managed to get his head on the end of the ball anyway. Resulted in a penalty. Obviously, how it wasn't a red card, I don't know, but it was a moment of madness. And Wayne Rooney converted the equaliser from the spot, after which Everton came close to winning it, but they didn't, and Ronald Koeman remains under pressure after defeat also last night in the Europa League. However, it's a good point for Brighton, but it should have been all three. On to Southampton and Newcastle. This was a good game on the South Coast. Manuel Gabbiadini scoring twice, and Perez scored for Newcastle, and Isaac Hayden hit the back of the net for Newcastle as well as that. So an eventful game at St Mary's. You could say Both teams were looking at to win it, but really a draw was a fair result. A good point for Newcastle, but Southampton are really stuttering along, to put it politely. A win is a long time in coming. I think they haven't won since the Crystal Palace game. So a win is due for them now. They need to get started. Because it's not like any Southampton side I've known for the last number of years. And then again, maybe there's an awful lot of luck involved. And an awful lot of bad luck, that is, for Southampton. But they need to get going. It's as simple as that. Fair play to Newcastle, they're keeping their good run going. On to the final game of the weekend, and that was Leicester and West Bromwich Albion. This game, by all accounts, was an non-event. I seen a bit of it, I didn't see it all. Nasser Chadli scored a bullet of a free kick right into the top corner past Peter Schmeichel. He didn't even move. And Riyad Mahrez grabbed the goal for Leicester to earn the Foxes a point. However, this game resulted in the sacking of Craig Shakespeare. What has football come to these days, folks? Leicester have played all the top teams so far this season and put in good performances, but as we know, nothing surprises us in football these days, and obviously, looking at this, it's a results business, and since Leicester have won the league, they haven't been able to take a few defeats on the chin. The owners, that is. It's sad, really. Leicester need to bounce back to reality a bit. They're performing well, but Shakespeare didn't deserve to go. The owners need to look at themselves, I feel. But sure, it's their business, and there's nothing I can do about it. But all I can say is, football has become a very, very unfair game. So that's the review show, folks. Thanks a million for watching. Like, subscribe, dislike, comment, do whatever the hell you want. But subscribe preferably, and like. It would be much appreciated. All the best. Take care of yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't, and I'll be back with a preview show for the upcoming game week very shortly. Take care, all the best, bye bye from Shane, thanks for watching.